and there was a RPG attack over the gates. So we all woke up with explosions. Boom, 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 boom. Once you Netflix top 10, you can bust raw nuts.
Welcome to Spooky Fun Time, a show where comedians face their fears. Now, here's your host, Brent Reed.
Welcome to Spooky Fun Time, a podcast where comedians share their fears and scary stories. I'm your host, stand-up comedian, and disgraced radio personality, Brent Reed, coming at you from the Creek in the Cave in Austin, Texas. Also, a quick shout-out to my producer, Brandon Lejean. Thank you so much for making us look and sound good, buddy. I'm so excited for this podcast and for my first guest, arguably one of the best first guests of all time on any podcast ever. He was my first and only choice to kick this thing off. One of the funniest, one of the most respected stand-up comics working today. You've probably seen him on at least one of his 6 appearances on a little show called the Joe Rogan Experience. He also has a brand new Netflix special out right now called Live from the Mothership. Go stream it right now. Give it up for my friend and comedy dad, Brian Simpson.
Brian Simpson.
Hell yeah. Thanks for being here, man. Thanks for doing this.
I'm always here.
Okay, so I want to get into what scares you, but to start off, I want to get some background for what we're getting into. So I know the highlights. I know that you grew up in foster care. You were in the Marine Corps. Can you just kind of start with the year you were born and tell me your origin story?
I was born in 82.
Okay. I feel like that's important for 80s guys. I feel like there's good 80s horror movies, and I feel like you guys grew up tough.
Yeah, I think we were more self-reliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We weren't comforted.
Right. Yeah, I was baby. Where were you born?
I was born in Washington, D.C.
Gotcha. So you were in foster care in Washington?
So no. I was in Washington, and I lived in the city till I was 6 or 7.
Gotcha.
And then I was in foster care, and it was technically DC foster care, but I moved to the suburbs, which is in Maryland.
Okay.
And then I got out of foster care.
You got adopted?
No, my dad took me out of foster care.
Oh, okay. Your real dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I lived with him for 2 years, and then I got put back in foster care.
Oh.
And then I moved around home to home to home to home to home to home, then a group home, then in with my stepmother, then the Marine Corps.
Okay. Now, you're a tough guy. I feel like you have all this life experience. Were you a scared kid? That's a lot. No, you weren't ever scared?
I was a defiant kid.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is why it was... it's once I realized that adults was full of shit, I didn't believe anything they said, so I did whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you think you made that realization?
Oh,
adults don't.
Right when I was in foster care, immediately.
I guess that'll do
because okay, so I skipped over some details. My mom was a teenage mom, and she took off because her mother would like to date shitty abusive men.
Gotcha.
And she just couldn't take it anymore. But she knew we would be fine. She knew we were better off with her mother than with her because she was young and didn't have shit. Mm-hmm. So she took off, and then my granny's enemies, the nosy ass neighbors, reported that we was home alone because we were latchkey kids or whatever. We were real young, but we were straight.
Right.
And then we moved, and so then we ended up having to move in with our aunt who lived in the same building but on the top floor. And we went, but she was also a teenage mom with 2 kids of her own, not teenager, but young, had her kids at 16, 18, that right? And so. Right. So now all of a sudden she's a young mom with 4 children, and that became a situation. And then my older brother we have different dads, right? And his dad's mom was a foster care person.
Gotcha.
And so, my aunt made the calculation that it would be better for us to move out to the burbs with her, because even though it was foster care, she was technically family.
Right.
So, but nobody told me. So she lived out in the suburbs. She had a little bread, and that was the only person in our family that had any bread as far as I knew.
What did she do?
I think initially she was like a head custodian in the school system or something.
Okay.
But then she had an accident or something, and it fucked her up. And so she got like a huge settlement.
Hell yeah.
And moved out to the burbs and bought a big ass house and just started taking care of mad kids. And so we just moved into that whole situation. But every once in a blue moon, we would go to her house and, and it was mad kids, but they had Nintendo, they had a TV in each room and Nintendo for each TV, and cable, and all this shit that meant you had a little money,
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was always cool to visit. So we went to visit for Christmas, right? But nobody told me that we was actually moving.
Oh shit!
So
it was a surprise. Like, hey, we're staying.
It was a surprise. So then I got into an argument with one of the other kids, and was like, "Fuck you, bitch! I can't wait till I go home." Whoop, whoop, whoop. And she was like, you live here?" And I was like, "No, the fuck I don't." And then I went, and I'm like asking around, like, "Yo, when we going home?" And, "Nah, we not going home. This is home." I'm like, "No, what the fuck?" And I go to my brother. He knew. Everybody knew. Oh, because they knew how I was gonna take it.
Yeah.
But I was more furious. Like, I felt betrayed.
Yeah.
I was like, why would everybody just pretend like this a visit?
Yeah. Yeah. What the fuck? That's like, that's gotta. Do you have trust issues?
Fuck yeah.
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 Especially, yeah. And so that was like the first feeling of betrayal, but I was 7, so I ain't had the words for it,
right?
Or even the ability to process how I felt. So,
right.
but now looking back, I know that's what it was. I was like, this dirty bitch. Like, if I had the vocabulary back then, I'd have been like, this sneaky bitch. Why would she just lie?
This trifling cunt.
Yeah, because what I didn't understand was why nobody trusted me with this information. Like, what did they think was going to happen?
Well, that's like I dealt with that too as a kid. Is like, people don't respect you as a person when you're 7.
Right. They don't respect you with the facts.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I hate it when adults hide behind this idea that they protecting their kids.
Really, it's a conversation they don't want to have.
Right. You're protecting yourself from being uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Right. And so that's really what it was. That was the first instance. And then they tried to put me on Ritalin. Mm-hmm. And when they first started giving it to me, I wasn't really taking it. I was, because it was like, oh, he ain't paying attention in school, but he's smart, so we think he, this and that. So they put me on Ritalin. And when they first gave it to me, I was like hiding it under my tongue and spitting it out, and
hell yeah,
stashing it in the cheek. She got hip.
Classic.
She got hip eventually. She got hip, but it was like a month of me getting away with that, and then they had another parent-teacher conference about it, and the teacher and the guidance counselor and my foster mother was all, just confirming each other's bias by acting like I made some significant change. Like, yeah, I see it working. His behavior, woo, 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 woo. And I'm in the room like,
we did so good.
Yeah, because also this is another thing I hate that adults do is like when they talk about children that are in the room as though they're not there.
Right.
Like, they were literally, and it's like, all y'all motherfuckers think y'all so much smarter than me.
Yeah.
Like, you're having this whole conversation. No one's asked me anything. Yeah, and y'all all just patting yourselves in the fucking back over bullshit. And that is the moment when I was like, I think all of them are just full of shit.
Yeah, kids become hip before people realize they do.
Oh yeah, they a lot of times they don't know how to express it because
they don't have the words.
Yeah, because a lot of expression is analogies, and when you lack life experience, you don't have a way to convey your feelings accurately because you don't have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
But kids be hip. They
Yeah.
do. They need to be hip. Some kids. I mean, some kids are dumb, but I was not a dumb kid. So
I believe that.
yeah. So that's my whole trust issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you fuck with horror movies growing up as a kid? Do
Mm-hmm.
you remember the first one you saw? Did you have one that fucked you up real bad?
The first horror movie. I mean, I don't know if this qualifies as a horror movie, but the earliest movie I could ever remember seeing that wasn't a comedy. Because the first thing I remember ever seeing is Delirious.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Raw. It's very vague memory, but it was
Both
Eddie
of
Murphy.
them. Which one is he wearing the red jacket? Is that Delirious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raw is the purple.
Yeah.
Oh, no, maybe it's the other way around.
Delirious is the red one.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So I believe it was Delirious that I watched first, but I could be wrong. But my point is, we watched all type of shit. But the first thing I remember seeing that wasn't a comedy was Hand That Rocked the Cradle.
I've never seen that.
Oh man, that joint serious.
Who's in that?
You know what? I don't even remember. You know,
Was it scary?
I know the star was a white lady that was pretty back then.
Yeah.
That was like known as pretty back then.
Okay.
And bro, it was kind of nuts. I don't know if that counts as a horror movie.
But that was one that kind of fucked you up a little bit?
It didn't fuck me up at all because I was like, oh, that's white people. You know what I mean?
That's just how they...
No, I didn't relate whatsoever. I was like, yep, that's how white people are for sure. Like because it was all about the main character responded to an ad for a nanny,
Yeah.
and she showed up at this house. So there's a couple with a newborn. She's a nanny, and she's actually nuts, and she slowly. Like it turns out that she's like she's a crazy bitch she lost her baby recently, and she's trying to replace the wife.
Oh,
so
shit.
she's slowly seducing the husband. She's breastfeeding their baby. She eventually is trying to kill the wife.
Okay. So you're watching it, you're just like, white people are crazy.
Oh yeah. So then the first thing that I remember being like actually scared was probably Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's my favorite. I love Nightmare on Elm Street.
But
Because that fucked you up. It was scary because everybody's vulnerable. Everybody has nightmares. Right. And the idea that's like when you're asleep, you should be safe. But something can get you when you're asleep. It's so scary. I also like that they're kind of funny too. Freddy's hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Like especially like the third one on, they get really silly. I love that shit.
But bro, you want to hear? Because I'm not religious anymore. But I
actually have that as a question.
I was raised religious.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget volunteering at the lady that was like the lady that had all the money at our church owned like a catering business. And I volunteered. I didn't volunteer. I worked for her over the summer, just washing dishes and shit.
Right.
And I remember staying at her house overnight, and I worked my ass off, and that was my first time experiencing sleep paralysis.
Oh.
And I'm so fucking confused. I fucking break free. I run upstairs. I fucking knock on her door.
Did you see anything?
No, I ain't see anything. But
you just couldn't move.
I couldn't move, but I was conscious.
Yeah.
And so I asked her like, yo, what is that? And she was like, yeah, that's a demon sitting on your chest because they can feel you close to a godly woman.
Yeah.
Like you didn't, yeah. And she was like, just write, she told me to write Jesus on my arm, and and pray and blah blah. And I did that, and I went to go back to sleep, and it happened again. And I was like, oh no. How I wrote Jesus. You know what I mean?
I did all the things.
I was like, yo, if Jesus can't stop it,
yeah.
like either he ain't hearing me or he can't stop it.
I had never experienced sleep paralysis when I was a kid, but I had a buddy who I played baseball with that became religious because he woke up at 3 a.m. to something like sitting on his chest, and I swear he's religious to this day. He's like, born again Christian because he thinks that because he looked over, he said it was the witching hour or whatever, it's 3 a.m. and he couldn't move, and then something started like pushing. He said he started praying and then it stopped, and now he's like. And then, as you know, in college, I found out about sleep paralysis. I was like, that dumb motherfucker.
Yeah, because I figured, I realized what's actually happening is that it happens to me when I'm really exhausted and I fought off sleep.
Right.
Because then, like whatever mechanism that usually happens when you start to dream, there's a hormone that gets released that keeps you from moving.
Right.
So you don't fucking get up while you're asleep, right?
Yes.
But sometimes, like when you're like falling asleep and trying to stay up and falling asleep and trying to stay up, it happens out of order.
Yeah.
So it's like you begin to dream, but you don't go to sleep. So you get paralyzed because you kind of started to dream, but you didn't pass all the way out. So that's why you're conscious and you can't move.
Right. So you've never seen like a demon or anything when that's happening?
Nah.
You never see. I had a buddy that like. Weed, I think, suppresses the chemical in your brain that makes you dream less when you're smoking a lot of weed. Do you find that?
I didn't know that.
I had a buddy that quit weed and he was having some crazy night terrors. Will you look up sleep paralysis demon?
Yeah.
A lot of people see like the same thing.
Yeah, but a lot of times people are you're half dreaming.
Right.
And also, when people. It's a lot of I forget what the word is about the bias, but it's like if you'll notice, like the demons that people see, it's all cultural.
Right.
Like if you ask people from America, they all say they saw this, and if you ask somebody from India, they all say they saw the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's planted in your head what you're gonna see.
Right. So you think you saw it somewhere? It's not like another dimension. A lot of people think it's like they're seeing the same thing from the same dimension. Like there's another.
Yeah.
I don't believe in anything fun.
No.
But it's fun to.
Well, it's all nonsense now. I'm a lot less scared of things now that I'm a non-believer.
Yeah. So you don't believe in ghosts?
No, that's nonsense.
Have you ever been somewhere that was like haunted, supposedly?
Yeah, the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
Bullshit. It's not haunted.
Yeah. People say Sunset Strip is haunted too.
Sunset Strip, in Hollywood, or do you mean the club?
Oh, the club.
Yeah.
Here.
People are dumb. And I've had this argument with so many people, and it's like, you want it to be haunted. That's what you don't understand.
And
you want it to be true.
That's what I've found with like religion, ghosts. Like I always say, anytime somebody asks me, I'm like, I don't really believe in anything fun. I found if I want it to be true, like I wish ghosts were real because I think that would make life more exciting.
Oh yeah.
But I just don't. I don't. I've never seen it. And I've been to like haunted. I went and did this podcast. My buddy does a podcast called Comedians on Shrooms Getting Haunted. And we went to, this is problematic, but we were like 4 white dudes and we went to this haunted plantation outside of New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
And during a height of mushrooms, we were talking and there was a bolt of lightning like right outside and like a loud rumble of thunder. I was like, they hate us. They don't want, we shouldn't be here. 4 white guys should not be hanging out here.
Yeah, but it's also like, well, that lightning happened for everyone that could see it.
You're right. It wasn't just like for me.
For you,
yeah,
right.
Yeah. But you're on mushrooms. You're like, oh,
right, exactly. Because
shit.
here's the thing, you ghost people, because there's already people going to be in your comments like, well, the supernatural. Listen, have you guys ever noticed that all these ghost hunter people have never found a ghost?
They ain't got one.
Have you guys noticed these motherfuckers they got 7 seasons deep? They ain't found one ghost.
Like if they had one in a cage.
Yeah, like if they the Ghostbusters.
Hey, look, we caught this one.
They got no ghosts in the vault for Ghostbusters. You know?
That's true. But if you believe in ghosts, that's okay. We just think you're dumb.
Yeah. I think it's a sort of self-absorption.
Yeah.
Like, more things are about me.
Does anything scare you physically in real life, like the dark or heights or the gays or little holes and shit?
Too
many white people around.
Yeah, mostly like social situations.
Yeah. And now, is that anxiety, or do you actually feel fear that you're gonna like say something crazy?
No, it's just anxiety. I would just rather not.
Yeah.
No, but something like actually scares the shit out of me. Probably. I'm always worried when I'm in a tall building. I'm sorry, like when I'm in a large building because I'm always worried about an earthquake.
Have you been in an earthquake?
Being crushed. Yeah, I've been in plenty of earthquakes.
Because you lived in L.A.
Right, but the thing is like that was the thing about California is everyone knows the big one's overdue, and everyone just lives every day like it ain't gonna happen.
That's
and it's
fucking scary.
Like, yeah, bro, and it's like I'm constantly aware, because that's the thing, man. Being, there's still plenty of stuff to fear, and then just on an existential level, the universe is trying to kill us. I'm afraid of outer space. Is terrifying.
Outer space is so scary,
bro.
The ocean is scary.
Oh, the ocean is.
It's like outer space upside down.
Right. It's so terrifying because that's one of them situations where if something goes wrong, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? I'm gonna die. I'm not a good swimmer.
Do you go to the ocean? Do you get in the water?
Absolutely not. No. I don't understand why people do that at all. There's nothing nothing I would rather do less than get in the ocean.
Do you like the sand? Will you go to the beach?
No. I've been talked into it on occasion. I always regret it. It's a bad idea
every
because
time you're bummed.
Well, if you're not going to get in the ocean, then that completely erases the entire benefit of going to the beach. Everything else about the beach sucks.
Sand sucks.
The sand sucks. The heat sucks. It's exhausting just being in the sun all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because every single time I've been talking to them, because I used to live in San Diego where I started comedy, and there's mad beaches everywhere. Like I always say this, San Diego is what people that have never been to California think LA is.
Yeah.
It's just beaches. It's like, because if you fly to LA and you land at the airport, you are 45 minutes from a beach.
Right.
You're not near the beach.
Mm-hmm.
The beach is in a whole other city. It's not even in Hollywood.
So you got to drive all the way out there.
Yeah, you got to drive to the beach. You got to drive to the coast. LA is not. I mean, it is on the coast, but you understand what I'm saying? It's not near the water. So, but San Diego, you're like a 15-minute drive from like 7 different beaches.
Yeah.
So every time I've been talked into going to the beach, it's always been, it's like people think the beach is just a quick little something you're gonna do. But the thing is, when you're done at the beach, you're done for the day. You're so beat from the sun and trying to not die in the water. And then and then there's jellyfish. It's like, what is even the point?
Jellyfish suck.
Yeah,
dude, I've had many a jellyfish.
Which is another reason I don't trust adults, because they're the ones that were like, oh yeah, just piss on your feet, and that doesn't work at all. Listen, everybody, pissing on your feet doesn't cure anything with jellyfish. There's so little. What you need to take to the beach is vinegar. Take white vinegar to the beach. And if you get stung by jellyfish, pour that on the sting.
No piss.
No piss.
All right.
No.
Well,
piss doesn't have.
You guys can put that piss away.
Here's the thing. Piss could work, but you would need like gallons of it. It's not enough.
Ugh.
It's not acidic enough.
Yeah.
You need.
You would need a bunch.
I mean, you need. I'm sorry. Yeah. You need vinegar. Vinegar does the trick. It neutralizes the sting. Piss does almost nothing, and whatever else is in your piss is on your feet now. I'm sorry. Why am I keep saying feet? Because I got stung on the feet.
You got stung on the feet in particular. Did you piss? Did you piss on your feet?
I did, and it didn't work.
Were you just standing in the shower?
This was one of my high school girlfriends. I went to the beach with her family, and we go in the water because it's away from the family, so we can make out or whatever. And I'm thinking, oh, she gonna think this romantic, And then I got bit on both feet by a jellyfish. I didn't realize that you're stepping on them. Yeah, and they'll sting the shit out of you.
They'll fuck you up.
And it stung both of my feet. I get out of the water. Oh my God! And her mom's like, yeah, just go to the bathroom and piss on your feet. And it did nothing.
What a terrible parent. That's so. Just go piss on your feet.
Well, no, it's all these wives' tales. Oh, put butter on your burn. Are you burning yourself? Put butter on it.
I'm sure when butter was the only thing available, it was okay, but now we have like ointments and shit.
Well, butter might make it feel better because it's cold.
Right, but that's it.
But it's definitely not helping.
Mustard too? People put mustard on burns?
I've never heard that.
You've not? That may be an Alabama thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mustard.
Well, they're not known for... somebody just...
Go ahead. Go ahead, you son of a bitch.
Like somebody in Alabama was somewhere else when they used butter and they just remembered it was yellow. And they were like, boy,
Yeah, as long as it's yellow, just put it on there, hell.
yeah, boy, I got to seek for y'all.
Do you have an earthquake story? Was there ever one where you're like, oh shit, this is a big one? Is there one in particular that scared the fuck out of you?
No, not any in particular, but I remember, because I remember being a little kid and hearing about the big one that happened in San Francisco, where it like destroyed the place.
Yeah.
You know, and so that always stuck with me. Like, oh shit, like that's possible.
So did you have friends and family that lived through that? That's pretty crazy.
No,
you
but it was just something I learned about for no reason.
Right.
and it's something I've always feared. I mean, and when I finally learned that, like, you know, not only is there a super volcano in the Midwest, but there's also a big fault line going down the West Coast. You know, and it's overdue to slip. You know what I mean?
And it's just gonna happen eventually.
It's gonna happen eventually. Like if you want to be terrified at all times, subscribe to the earthquake bot on Twitter. Put in earthquake bot in your city, and if you live near any fault line, put in earthquake bot in your city, and you'll get a notification every time there's an earthquake anywhere around you. And when you realize, if you do this in California, you will realize that they're literally happening every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's earthquakes every day.
Just little boop boop.
Just little boop boop. And because here's the other thing. People are so stupid that they don't realize that the Richter scale is logarithmic. Because most people don't know what logarithmic means.
I don't.
Well, what really matters is that small numbers don't move people.
Okay.
So if you say a 6 on the Richter scale, people think that, oh, well, that's, you know, a 1. I didn't even feel the 1 that happened. I didn't feel the 2 that happened. So what's a 6? What's a 3 times more? But no, it's 6 to the, it's, you know, it's exponential.
Yeah.
So, I actually, this is part of the thing in my special where and you'll see if you go watch it. But it's like,
I've seen it.
But
Very
it's like
good.
a 2 is not twice as much as a 1. It's,
right.
It's 10 times.
Yeah.
Right. And then a 3 is 100, and a 4 is 1,000, and a 5 is, you know, 10,000. And so it's like, I put it to you like this: the Richter scale only goes up to 10.
Yeah.
And there's never been a 10. Do you know why? Because a 10 would split the earth in half.
Okay, so 10 is splitting Earth in half. And is this in reference? This is when you were talking about WAPs?
Right.
Is it when you were talking about level 4 WAP? So good.
And wait till Cardi B gets a hold of it. I hope she has a positive response. That's another thing I'm fearing, is that Cardi B will hate me.
Do you want Cardi B to like you?
I want Cardi B to like me.
I bet she will. You're fun. You're hilarious.
I love her. She's entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe has she seen it? Probably not seen it yet.
I don't know. I mean, we are in the top 10 on Netflix right now.
Hell yeah,
So
sister.
maybe it'll come to her attention, because
maybe.
To me, it's the best joke in the special.
It's
And so if people hear about it, you know, who knows? I mean, just maybe it just hasn't hit black media yet.
Is Cardi B single?
I don't know. I don't think so, because they're you know.
Is she taller than you?
She's not single. No, she's still married. No,
Is she? How tall is Cardi B?
I don't know. I ain't never seen her in person.
Maybe she's like 6'4" or something.
Nah, she ain't tall. Nah. She.
Y'all be perfect.
Tall women don't. Tall women are not that aggressive. She's little. She's got to be little.
She's 5'3".
Yeah.
5'3"?
See.
That's adorable.
Yeah. Tall women don't really punch people in the face and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, she got 6'4" energy because she's 5'3". I feel
exactly. It's like little man syndrome, but all women have it.
All women?
All women have little man syndrome that aren't 6 foot.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. I wanted to would you mentioned space. Would you, if Elon Musk invited you to a trip to the moon, would you go?
No. Wait a minute. Is it the first trip?
Good question.
Because I'm not going on the first.
Sure.
Nothing.
No first trip. So what about, they've done it like 10 times. Some of your buddies have done it.
No,
Rogan's done it.
It's got to be thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. I needed to be perfectly. I mean, because think about it. You know, that that submarine, that motherfucker had gone 10 times, 15 times.
For sure.
So
yeah,
that's
like
not
a
enough.
handful of time.
That ain't enough. Nah. In fact, I don't think it's safe to go till after the first accident. That's when
So would you go to the ocean now in a submarine now that they've had a couple of oopsies?
if a different company built it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like again, I needed to have already been a disaster.
Uh-huh.
And then I need a different company to have done it successfully thousands of times.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
What's your cat's name?
Millions.
Do you feel? Well, we've already talked about how you don't believe in ghosts. Does he look like he's like see it? You know, cats like supposedly can see spirits and stuff. Does he ever like?
That's what
look
people
off?
say. Yeah. But I think they just are on a frequency that we not on. They hear shit. They smell shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's always right. There's always something when she's writing and shit. There's always something.
Right. Okay.
You
So
know?
do you think she probably can see like something that we can't see? Maybe not spirits, but
I don't know.
Do you think?
Because I'm like, I don't be sitting around trying to figure out her philosophy. You know? Like the bitch,
I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna get
yeah.
Millions on here next.
She's just a dumb, cute animal.
Does she ever scare you? Cats are sneaky.
Yeah, she tries to. I pretend like I'm scared.
Oh, you'll see her like
She's
crouching behind
terrible.
the corner or something.
Yeah,
You're like, you're so bad at it.
she'll get in a box and like she's about to ambush me. You know.
Yeah.
She very rarely has she scared me, but ignoring her was at my peril because I had this like right now my mattress is on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm on Netflix and I'm sleeping. My mattress is on the floor. You know, and it's because I had this bed that was like a platform bed, and the headboard is fabric, and she would always fucking scratch at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is why buy fabric? It's so stupid. You know, you have a cat, right? You know she's gonna. And so I would be like, and I don't know why I care if she scratches it because it's like I'm gonna get a new one at some point. But
Right.
But
But still, you want it to be.
So-
You make
so-
your living room nice. You don't want it to be all clawed up.
exactly. So I had rearranged my room and moved the bed. And I don't know if you ever had a platform bed, but there's a one loose thing in the middle.
Yes.
That's kind of supposed to be stability, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd moved the bed without thinking about it, and it was like cocked to the side, so it wasn't holding its part of the weight.
Oh shit.
And so normally she's, you know, in the middle of the night, she'll be scratching on the thing and I'll fucking hit it and she'll fucking scurry off, right? And so I hear that scratch, and I hit it, you know, and usually she does it every once in a blue moon because she knows she's not supposed to, you know, but this particular week it had happened like every single night of the week. And I was like, what the fuck? And then the last time it happened, I realized like I had just let her outside, so she couldn't have been in my room. Mm-hmm. And I hear the sound anyway, you know. But just out of reflex, I wake up and I fucking smack the headboard, and it keeps happening. And I'm like, Millie, and I look under the bed, and it breaks off. So it wasn't her scratching the bed at all. It was the wood splintering because I sleep alone. I all my weight was on one side of the bed, and since the middle post wasn't there, it wasn't balancing nothing out. So all my weight was just on the screws at the top of the bed. So it just was shearing out of the wood. It was just coming out.
That would have scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, and you
You're
know
like,
what?
Let him outside.
But what's so funny is I still just slept through it, like literally with one corner of my bed kind of pointed at the ground, and I got up the next day and just ripped the whole bed apart.
Is it? Oh, okay. So you don't have that bed anymore?
No.
You got a new bed,
Just
new platform?
Mattress on the floor right now
Oh, nice.
because
Damn.
I'm moving into a new. I'm gonna get a king size bed.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's no point in getting.
You just wanted to feel like an open micer again.
Yeah. Stick to my roots.
Okay. Do you I know you're in the military. I don't know how much of that you want to talk about being in the Marines.
Or was I?
Or were you?
No, yeah. It
Was that scary? Did you have any near-death experiences?
Nope, because I didn't do anything dangerous.
You didn't see anything
Oh,
combat?
I mean, no. There was times I thought I might die,
yeah.
but it turned out to not be. You know.
Okay.
When I first got there, literally the first night we got there, we were all asleep in a tent, but it was like a holding tent until we got set up, and there was a RPG attack over the gates. So we all woke up with explosions. Boom, 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 you know, and that was terrifying.
That's so goddamn scary.
Yeah, but they weren't near us. It just,
Right. It was just-
explosions are really loud, and so you can't tell where they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So you just wake up and you think you're getting bombed.
Like, you can't tell what an explosion is if it's close to you. You can't tell which direction. You know?
It just fills up the...
I don't know what it is. The pressure wave, it feels like it's everywhere. So
Yeah.
if you're far enough away, you can tell, oh, there was an explosion over there. But if it's near you, you can't tell which direction it is most of the time.
So...
But after being there, like, everyone panicked. Everybody panicked because none of us had ever been, you know, in that situation before. But then by the time we left, so there was a drill. Like, if that was happening, you had to, no matter where you were on the base, you had to work your way back to this meet point. Unless you were a certain distance away, then you needed to go to somewhere else. And then, so basically, it was so they could count everybody to make sure nobody was dead.
Yeah.
You know, so every unit had a designated space to go meet up, which to me seemed like the opposite of what you should do. Like, maybe you should
Go to
spread
the
out.
same place every time?
Right, but everyone meeted up in the same place so they could count you and be like, so who are we missing? You know?
Yeah.
And everyone was all panicked and freaked out on that first night. And then by the time we left, you know, people was just fucking playing video games and fucking
Like
just
there were
it was
RPGs
nothing.
that just exploded?
No, because they never killed anybody. They never hit nobody. Only one person died, and it was because they were somewhere they weren't supposed to be.
Gotcha.
So they missed every time. So because they didn't have the proper delivery system, and they had to come too close to the perimeter to even get it over the gate, because if they didn't want to die, they would have to, like, very quickly drive by and drive away and fire a rocket propelled grenade out of a pickup truck, out of a, like, PVC pipe or whatever the fuck they were. So they didn't have the proper delivery system, so it didn't go the right distance. So my point is, they either overshot or undershot every time.
Where was this? Where were you stationed?
In Iraq.
In Iraq. That was in Iraq
Yeah.
proper. Gotcha.
So, you know, so I guess, yeah, it sounds like a dangerous situation, but you know, and maybe it is. Maybe I'm just numb about it. But,
Right.
because nobody died.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, well, one person died, but nobody I knew.
You do seem like a tough guy. Do you remember the last time you felt fear? Do you feel fear often?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, in what situations?
The thing is, toughness is not about feeling fear. It's about how you react to the fear.
Not
I just
freaking the fuck out.
I just keep my cool. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I freaked out. Actually, the last time I freaked out was when I thought I lost. Well, I did. When I lost my wallet in Chicago, and I didn't know if you could fly without an ID.
Fuck.
It's like,
So
I
you're,
don't.
like,
I know. I was
Googling
like, I don't want to
shit.
be stuck in Chicago. This is terrible.
That's a nightmare. Stuck in Chicago.
Oh yeah. Because I was like, but it turns out you can fly without an ID.
That's actually really good advice because I have low self-esteem and I think of myself as like a weak person, but I like the idea that I could just, I mean, everybody feels fear. I could just be cool. That's what being tough is.
I mean, the only legitimate reason to freak out is if you don't know what to do or if you don't have the resources to do it. But
right.
So
just be prepared.
Be prepared or be honest with yourself. It's like, can you do anything about this? Okay, then chill out.
Yeah.
Can you do anything about this? Okay, then do it.
Yeah.
Or don't.
I'm getting better about it. Moving here was scary. I lived in Alabama for 30 years before you encouraged me to move out here.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Best decision you ever made.
Best decision I ever made, baby. I opened for you in Huntsville, and you were like, I was dating a girl at the time, and you basically told me, don't be scared. Like, she'll be here waiting for you if it's meant to be. So that's what I did.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it. A year later. I moved here March 5th last year.
She's still waiting?
No. No.
It's all right.
Not.
It's all right. And it's okay. It's okay to miss her, too.
Yeah. And I do sometimes. But a lot of it, I'm also like, I've become less sad about it because I'll think of things now without having those rose-tinted glasses on where I'm like, oh, that was kind of shitty.
Well, the thing is, you would have ended up resenting her.
Exactly. And I think that's what she said, too.
Yeah.
She's pretty smart about it. But we're here now, baby. I got a few more questions. I think I know the answer to this. Are you superstitious? Like, do you believe in bad luck and shit? Do you, like, if I had a Ouija board here, would you play with it? Do you care about a black cat walking in front of you on the sidewalk?
No. Listen, I used to.
Yeah.
I used to.
It
be
makes
like,
life more exciting.
Like, don't split the pole.
Yeah.
You know, that's an Alabama thing too. I thought it was just a black thing.
Splitting the, like walking under. Yeah, people in the South are really superstitious.
Walk under a ladder. Don't split a pole.
If you spill salt, you got to fucking throw it over your shoulder.
Yeah, a big one when I was coming up is if you were sweeping and you hit my grandma's feet, she would fucking spit at your feet.
Yo, really?
Yeah, because she's like, don't fucking hit my feet with that fucking broom. It's bad luck.
So then you guys spit.
Yeah.
Walking under ladders and all that shit.
Yeah.
Would you say Bloody Mary into a mirror 5 times if we had one?
Sure, I would.
Okay.
I don't believe in anything supernatural.
Yeah, me neither.
I think it's all.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this podcast, but I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. And I want to talk to more people who do believe in that stuff.
People that do believe in it are fascinating to me, and but it's hard for me to have conversations with them because they're so defensive about it.
Right.
You know, where they're like, "Oh, you don't believe in it?" I was like, "No."
Yeah.
I've literally never seen a ghost.
Me
I've never, and then anyone that's ever told me they've seen a ghost has never seen a ghost. When you dig deeper into their questions, it's always very vague and not specific. It was like, I had a feeling. It was like, that's not a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, everyone, ghost hunters have never found a ghost. They like literally people going out looking with cameras and sensors and meters
are looking for them.
They've never found a ghost, and people still tuning in. I don't understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It is wild.
They go to all these haunted places. They never find a ghost, and then I don't get it. You know?
When you were growing up, were there any I know you said you moved around a lot. Were there any rooms or basements or anything that you avoided that just creeped you out?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Just a place in the house you wouldn't go?
I was terrified of the dark for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess in a way, the unknown still scares me.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're scared of the dark a little bit when you can't see at all?
Right.
Because you don't know what's in there.
Yeah. And back then I believed in ghosts.
Right. You see, that was, dude, so much of when I decided I wasn't religious, so many fears of the dark and shit went away because I was scared of demons and stuff.
Oh, right.
So then when I one day decided that I didn't believe in that, the dark all of a sudden wasn't as scary.
Right.
Christianity in general, and just religion in general, so much of it is fear-based. They literally say fear God.
Right.
That's how they word it.
You know, but it's weird because it's almost weird. It's like I'm more afraid of the police, even though that doesn't happen very often to me.
Yeah.
You know, where a cop's never beat the shit out of me, but I'm still scared it's gonna happen.
Does it make it?
But we got that on tape.
Does it make it less scary with cops now that you're kind of a celebrity?
Well, the thing is, a lot of comics assume that my celebrity is bigger than it is.
Right, because you're very famous in our world.
Right, but I'm not that famous.
Right.
No.
But do you ever get recognized by a cop every once in a while? Because I feel like a lot of cops listen to Joe Rogan and shit.
Well, a lot of cops work at the Mothership.
Right.
You know, the security. So
yeah.
I know they know who I am.
Yeah.
But I don't. But that's the thing is, I don't. Maybe my experience is different in Austin because I really don't go that many places other than my house and comedy clubs. But I never see the cops doing anything. I never see nobody getting pulled over. I never see them fucking with nobody. In the one story, the last story I heard about somebody getting pulled over out here, the cop was cool with them.
Yeah, I assumed it was because of the defunding thing. I know I look like this, but I've been here a year. I've been pulled over not once. I feel like they got actually,
the one time I've dealt with a dickhead cop was at the Mothership.
Yeah. And
he wasn't on duty or nothing. But I do Bottom of the Barrel. It's a weekly show at the Mothership every Tuesday, 7:30 and 10:30.
I'm there the first Tuesday of the month.
Sponsored by Bug Assault. But also, I pull topics out of a barrel and the comic riffs on them. And I do it the most because I go up, I host it. And I pull a bucket out, and it's about whether cops and teachers should make more money. And then it turned into this whole debate because this lady thought cops should make less money. But the lady that wrote that was being sarcastic. And then, I was telling the lady, I was like, yeah, but if you pay cops less, won't you get worse cops? Like you mean you want like minimum wage cops out here? You want people with
Yeah.
guns and the power to fuck your life up, making $8 an hour?
No, sir.
Right. So it's like that because it sounds like it sound good in your head. Like pay them less, cut the budget. It's like okay, so then you're gonna either have less cops or you're gonna have cheap cops.
Cheap cop.
Right.
It's like I'm not doing this shit for
and then from like the corner of the room, I hear, all right, let's move on.
Oh fuck.
And I was like, what are you talking about?
You had to address that.
Well, here's the thing. He wasn't wrong. The topic was kind of not. It wasn't funny. What was that?
I don't know. He's Googling average police officer salary in Texas.
Oh yeah. Well, it turns out the teachers make more than cops.
Yo, really?
Yeah. In America, I don't know what it is in Texas.
Teachers make good money in Texas, so it's saying that this is what the cops make. But I know there's like a district in Dallas where every teacher makes over $100K. They pay teachers very well out here.
Oh shit. Well, good for them.
Yeah. So well, as long as you don't mention slavery in the classroom, but yeah, they. So anyway, my point is, he wasn't wrong that the subject was kind of going nowhere, but the thing is like when I'm hosting the show, is like you don't control shit up in here. It's like he was just on some like talk about something else.
Yeah.
Like because I said so. And it's like you don't run shit up in here. And then it came out that he's a cop.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then he left.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
He like admitted that he was a cop and then left. But it's like, why you think you can do? This not a traffic stop.
This isn't your.
Hey, all right. Let's move on. It's like you don't get to do that.
Yeah. Even when they're on duty, I'm like I try to be nice all the time. I just want everybody to like me. I'm nice all the time. And cops have been like dicks to me. You know, they just like it's the authoritative.
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah. Cops have been dicks to me. Not in Austin, except that guy.
Yeah, not in Austin. Yeah.
But
they got
never really, and definitely when I was younger, like in D.C., Maryland, PG County, that area, like they were real dickheads.
Yeah.
But that's when I experienced that whole like, because it was like a us versus them. Like they had an attitude of like, it's us versus them.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like the cops out here are more like just going with the flow. Like they only really get serious about serious stuff.
Exactly.
Except
they got actual shit to worry about.
But this one emotional nigga, because this is the thing too. He didn't say he was an Austin cop.
Right.
And you never know. Mothership is international, so he didn't go into more detail. He just left.
Yeah.
But
I feel like in Alabama, you get pulled over all the time for dumb shit because there's not actual crime. Like I feel like if you're in Atlanta or you're in Texas, like they usually won't fuck with you if you're just like speeding a little bit.
Bro, but honestly, that crowd in Alabama was maybe the worst crowd I've ever had.
Yeah, you didn't have a good time.
And it was because I realized because a lot of people don't know that in that part of the country, like that Alabama, Tennessee border area, there's a lot of tech companies.
Yeah,
like
in Huntsville.
NASA's down there.
Where you were, Huntsville,
right.
That's where
and
NASA
so this is supposed to be the smartest people in Alabama. And this crowd was literally so stupid that all it took was one Roll Tide and the show was off the rails.
Yep, same thing happened with Joe List when he came through. He fucked up and said like Roll Tide, and then people just went back and forth. Like, Roll Tide, War
Damn Eagle.
Yeah, War Damn Eagle.
And it's like, are y'all? Is this like? I get it, but like, is it that serious?
It's serious. Let me tell you, when I was a kid and we were far away from Tuscaloosa, I mean, we were like 3 hours from Tuscaloosa where the University of Alabama is. When I was growing up, when you're a kid and people always ask, like, what's your favorite color? Mm-hmm. When you're a kid in Alabama, it's you from the beginning. It's like Alabama or Auburn. They would ask you. And you would have to like choose. And I remember one kid in high school switched. He was a turncoat because Auburn was losing a lot. Alabama was winning all these national championships. He switched, and that kid got so much shit. He got bullied and shit because he was like, they were like making fun of him because he switched teams. Like, who the fuck cares?
Like, bro, seriously, anyone being convicted of a crime in Alabama is an idiot because all you have to do at sentencing is yell Roll Tide. And they'll never be, and then you can delay the verdict so much that you can sue for not having a speedy trial.
Yeah. My best friend, probably shouldn't have said that, but his dad died like a couple years ago, and they said Roll Tide at his funeral. He did not go to the university.
Wow.
But he was like a big Alabama fan. They said Roll Tide at his funeral.
And what does Roll Tide even mean? No one knows.
It's, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide. It's something to do with like a war or something. It was like a war cry. There is one question while he's looking that up. I'm thinking about ending on this question every time, but it might be a bummer. But I was going to ask if you're religious. We already answered that. Are you afraid to die? Are you afraid of death?
No. I'm afraid of dying.
Yeah, like you don't want to die from a fire or something.
No, right. Like I don't want. Like if I could just, if like when my time comes and it's just over, I want to die instantly.
Yeah, like a stray bullet or something.
No.
Somebody hit me with that one. They
That's
said like
strange.
sometimes like people fire guns in the air. That bullet has to fall somewhere. So could you imagine if you're outside grilling steaks or something, you just fall out, and everybody's like, Brian, quit fucking around.
Oh yeah. And I'm gonna piss my whole family off because I'm gonna leave my money to a tree or something. None of my kids is getting anything.
Are you gonna have kids?
Maybe. I mean,
you're not scared to have kids in this?
I'm not avoiding it anymore.
Yeah,
It's all raw nuts from
you're
this
coming
point
in
forward.
somebody?
Once you Netflix top 10, you can bust raw nuts. You know?
Take that to the bank.
Yeah. No, I'm scared of having kids with the wrong person.
Right.
That's
Oh, yeah.
always terrified because I grew up with all surrounded by all these abandoned kids. You know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, and then those kids would have kids.
Yeah.
You know, they have kids too early in high school or whatever, and now they baby mama hates them and it's just destroying their whole lives for the rest. You know what I mean? And it's like I grew up around so much of this, and so people are like, why do you don't have kids? Because what it is I come from a generation where like having kids proves you're not gay, even though it doesn't.
Yeah.
So
dude, I'm sure my whole hometown thinks I'm gay.
Oh yeah, right. You look, I mean, he 34, no children.
He ain't got a single kid.
He ain't got no children whatsoever. And Betty was sweet on him.
I'm coming raw though.
Yeah, and so it's like because I think I don't care if people think it's like I'm not that's not gonna fool me into having kids with the wrong person.
Exactly.
Yeah, in fact,
Well, so many people, my hometown, I mean, just everywhere you see these people that obviously just did not want to have kids. They felt like they had to. It was just the next step.
Yeah, and it's like, well, when women do that, I just don't get it. Mm-hmm. Where it's like they'll just fuck. Some women want kids so bad they'll just let the worst person come inside them.
Well, women are also they're on a ticking clock.
Right.
You can only physically have kids for so long.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, but look, hey, you lost the game. You lost the game. It's like, listen, I get that completely.
Yeah.
That some women feel like their time is running out, but does that make it make sense to be like get down to your last egg and be like, okay, anybody,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Freeze that thing.
It's like, yeah, because I think at that point you thinking about what you want and not what's best for the child.
Yeah.
Right. Where it's almost like. It's almost like, during the pandemic when all the dog shelters emptied, like you couldn't go adopt a dog. It was like people were just adopting dogs left and right because they was lonely, right? You know what didn't skyrocket is people checking out books about how to take care of a dog. You understand what I'm saying?
That's so true.
It's like no one gave a fuck about whether they were actually good for the dog. They just wanted a dog. And now New York City is full of. There's a Great Dane in a 250 square foot apartment right now. In New York City, I guarantee you, someone has a dog. Someone has a
just a fucking horse.
Yeah, someone has a mastiff. You know what I mean? Sleeping in an efficiency. You know what I mean? Because they wanted a dog.
Right.
You know,
It's selfish.
it's and the thing is, you get to pat yourself on the back because you saved him.
Yeah. It's like, did you?
You rescued him.
You rescued him from a cage to your like tiny studio apartment in New York.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, thank you.
It's like, how would he walk by these crack needles every day?
Okay, not afraid to die. What do you think happens? Just nothing?
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
I mean, or it's not it.
You've done psychedelics and shit. Do you? Sometimes I feel like maybe there's like your consciousness just goes somewhere else that we can't possibly understand.
Yeah. Because every time I thought I died, I woke up. You know.
Right.
There's a time when I was little that I swear I fell head first down some stairs, and right before my head hit the ground, I woke up, and I was like, maybe that's what. Maybe I died and tunneled to another.
Maybe just like your life, like a video game. You went from 9 to 8 lives. You're like, oh, that was one.
Or something. But no one knows. No one knows what happens after you die. It's probably nothing.
Yeah.
But it could be something.
Well, I guess it's kind of a bummer to end on.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good final question to ask?
You got more questions?
I think that's it.
Let's speed them.
Let's see. Have you ever been held at gunpoint or robbed?
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Was that fun?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was scary at first, but I didn't have anything to give them. So, and I was trying to, it was my first time trying to buy weed on my own without my older cousin.
How old were you?
I was 13 or 14. And I was trying to buy weed, and the dude was like, okay, yeah, I'll be right back. And then he never came back. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I went looking for him, and I found him like standing on a stoop, like laughing and joking and talking shit and blah blah blah. And I was like, "Hey, where's my fucking money?" And he put a gun to my head.
Oh God. He didn't smack you with it or anything?
And he laughed. And another time, dude, I was sitting in a stairwell, and this lying ass bitch. I don't even know what was actually going on, but it was just one of those things. It was just a little hang in the stairwell. And it was me and the homie George and his homie, the lady from upstairs that made the chicken wings, and another girl, her best friend. And this other girl who had just been hanging out with us like an hour before that, she was on the stairwells with us. She came back with her boyfriend who walked in and put a gun to my head. It was like, what you fucking say to my girl? Whoop, 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 whoop. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I ain't saying anything to her. See, I think what happened is one of those other dudes in the building was on some G shit and checked her or said something to her. And she went and told her boyfriend, but didn't know his name or whatever. And I think he walked in the building thinking he was about to press somebody who he didn't know. And when he realized who she was talking about, he knew that it wasn't a good idea. So he fucked with me. Right. You know what I mean? Because he didn't there was no reason for him to think it was me.
No. Yeah. He was just like ready to pop off.
And here's what's wild. This bitch was, because she wasn't talking about me. I never interacted with her. So whoever she went and got him for, she was just standing in the corner not saying nothing. She wasn't like, it wasn't him. Because it wasn't. It was like, and I was like.
She was trying to cause chaos.
Right. And the thing is, she was going to let.
That's so
She was going to let him fucking kill me rather than admit that he was wrong or she was wrong or whatever. And I was like, fuck this bitch.
Now, were you tough, Brian, then? Were you straight face this whole time, or were you scared? Outwardly, you think?
I was just more confused. I'm not who you talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I don't deserve what's happening right now. I didn't do this.
Yeah, it was just a weird moment. But I wasn't really that scared because I knew the homie George was a real, it was gonna go down. You know what I'm saying?
Were you yelling at this lady like, bitch, help me? Why are you letting him do this?
I don't remember what I said to her, but I definitely shamed her somehow. For real,
you're just
really
stand there and let this happen.
That's why. Listen, man, you can't trust these hoes. I'm trying to tell y'all some good shit.
I left a bar with a lady one time, and I guess they had broken up that day. This was in Alabama. We were walking down the street, and I heard footsteps coming up behind me real fast, and turned around. This motherfucker swings at me, and I ducked, and he just hit the ground. And if I was any sort of fighter, I should have kicked him in the face. But I let him get up, and we scrapped a little bit or whatever because he was pissed. But she orchestrated they had broken up that day. She knew he was at the bar. She came up to me and was like, "You want to go home with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely." And then she's leading me out of the bar, and this motherfucker with 6 friends comes and tries to beat the shit out of me.
Did you win the fight?
No. I mean, I don't think anybody really did.
Did she give you some pussy?
Yeah, I think I did wrestle with her afterwards, yeah.
Little hate fuck.
Yeah, that was fun. But yeah, I remember they chased me down, and like I had that fight or flight thing. So I think I like ran a little bit, like I ran across the street. Like, what the fuck am I doing? And then I stood my ground, and then they kind of surrounded us. Nobody else fucked with me. It was just him. And I remember we kind of like wrapped up. He took my shirt off, like he was grabbing at me, and I slipped out of my shirt. And then a cop pulls up, and all those guys scatter. And then so that guy, I'm shirtless, so this guy thinks I just got jumped. And I was like, oh, it was just one guy. And he was like, which one? I like saw him. I was like, I don't know. I don't know which one. And then he left. And then I went to that lady's house.
Shit, you better than me. I'd be like, yo, it was him.
It was him.
It was him. And he said, War Damn Eagle.
Well, I'd already kind of like ran for a little bit. So I didn't want to be like run and then snitch.
Yeah, it was him, Roll Tide.
It was him, Roll Tide.
Yeah, I'd have snitched like a motherfucker.
Well, I think that's good. Thank you so much for doing the first episode of this podcast.
All right.
Spooky fun time. Do you have dates or anything prepared? Just BrianSimpson.com.
Yep, Brian Simpson Comedy.
Oops, sorry.
.com. You can find all my tour dates. Coming to the Netflix is a joke festival in May in LA. Check out my new special streaming now on Netflix, live from the Mothership.
Hell yeah. Well, thanks, buddy.
Thank you, man.
Bye.